back to another live session here at ODA Class. Students, my name is Mitali Joshi and I am an English master teacher here at ODA. Today, I will be teaching you about prepositions of place. Before we get started on that, I'll tell you a little bit about ODA as well as myself, starting off with ODA. Now, students, I have told you this before. ODA is a live learning app where you get to learn on an amazing platform for which we have received the most innovative EdTech award. And you get to learn from some amazingly experienced master teachers who strive to make education and learning as easy and accessible to you as possible. And for this purpose, students, we have curated a course just for you. This course is called the Bridge Course. We are starting the Bridge Course on this upcoming Monday, and it's going to be a week-long course. So you will have class from Monday to Saturday, of which you will have 3 maths as well as 3 science. And students, apart from master teachers like myself, you will also have access to your own personal mentor teacher. Now, this mentor teacher is going to help you with the homeworks and with the tests that we provide to you on the app. They will also help you with whatever doubts you might have throughout class, through the homeworks, and as you go through the books and the modules that we provide to you for this course so that you can have some extra practice. Now, if you want to enroll in this bridge course, you can click on the link in the description box below and enroll for just rupees 29. Now, students, let me move on to a quick introduction of myself. Like I said, I am Mitali ma'am. I have a degree from Ohio State University and I am now an English master teacher here at ODA. I have been teaching for over 3 years now, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you to teach you about prepositions, specifically prepositions of place. So let's start off with a quick introduction to prepositions. So prepositions are words that are firstly placed before nouns or pronouns to show their relationship with other parts of the sentence. You might be wondering what that means. So let's take an example to understand this. The cup of coffee is on the side table. Here we have the cup of coffee, noun phrase number 1, and we have number 2, the side table. That is our noun here. And our word on is telling us about the relationship between the cup of coffee and the side table. So students, on over here is going to be a preposition because it tells us about the spatial relationship between the cup of coffee, which is the first noun phrase, and the side table, which is the other part of the sentence. And in this case, it also happens to be a noun. Now let's move on to talking about prepositions of place in particular. Now, prepositions of place, as the name suggests, are used to refer to a place where something or someone is located. Now, of course, this something or someone is going to be the noun in the sentence. One of the nouns, if not the noun in the sentence. Now, what I want us to do is take an example. Before we take an example, I want to show you a tip. Prepositions of place will always answer the question where. Now, you're going to use this when we move on to the next thing, where we are going to learn about 3 of the most important and the most commonly used prepositions of place. So remember, students, prepositions of place are used to show the relationship between a noun and usually another noun, and they answer the question where. So if you ask the question where about the first noun in the sentence, the preposition is going to help you with that answer. Moving on to 3 of the most common prepositions of place, we have at, in, and on. Now, each of these has a very unique representation and very unique use. Starting off with at, we use it when we want to refer to a specific point, to one specific point or one specific place. Next up, we have in, which is used to refer to enclosed spaces. And lastly, we have on, which is used to refer to surfaces. So in our earlier example, the cup of coffee is on the side table. The side table in this situation, we are talking mainly about the surface on which we have placed the cup of coffee. Let's take some examples to understand these. Jane is waiting for you at the bus stop. So notice here our preposition which is at, and it's referring to one specific point, one specific place, which is the bus stop. Let's take one more example to understand the next use. I have a meeting in Delhi. So here once again, our preposition of course is in. Now if you remember, I said that the use for in is for enclosed spaces. You might be wondering, ma'am, Delhi is not an enclosed space, but it's a city. It has boundaries, which is similar to an enclosed space, which is why in this situation we use in. Let's take our third example. Ouch, you are stepping on my foot. So our preposition here, of course, is on, and we are talking specifically about the surface on which you are stepping. So notice students, at, in, and on. All three of these have very distinct uses. At is for one specific point. In is for enclosed spaces. And on is only for surfaces. So remembering these, let's move on to a few quizzes. The shop is blank, the end of this street. Which one do you think, students? At, in, or on? The shop is at the end of this street. We are referring to one specific place, right? The end of this street. So it's a very specific place. It's a specific point, which is why here we use at. Moving on to our second quiz for now. There is no more cash, blank my wallet. Which one do you think makes sense over here, students? There is no more cash in my wallet. Now, if you notice, wallet is an enclosed space, and there happens to be no more cash in my wallet. Moving on to our third quiz. Didn't you see the no smoking sign blank the wall? What do you think? Which one is going to be our answer here, students? We are talking about the wall, which we know in this particular context is only the surface, which is why we will use our preposition on. So let's take two more questions for now before we move on to a couple of more prepositions of place. There are beautiful flowers, blank the bush, blank the garden. So students, here we have two blanks, which means we need two prepositions. It might be the case that we need the same preposition in both places, but it might not be the case as well. So starting off with, there are beautiful flowers, blank the bush. So we know that here we want to use on because flowers are seen on the surface of the bush. So we know that in the first blank we want to use on. What about the second one? The bush blank the garden. Now the garden is an enclosed space and we are referring to the bush, which is in the garden. So there are beautiful flowers on the bush in the garden. Let's take one last quiz for now, students. I hope that you are following along with how to use these prepositions. And if you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat box down below. There is a paperclip, blank the book, blank the corner of the room. So what do you think our answer is here, students? There is a paper clip on the book. We know if there's a paper clip, it's going to be on the surface of the book. Blank the corner of the room. So students, make a key note over here in your notebooks as well. When we talk about the corner of the room, we will always use in. Because firstly, the room is an enclosed space. But you might be wondering, ma'am, why do we not use at here? Even though we are referring to one specific location or one specific area. It's because the room is an enclosed space. So while we do use at the corner of the street, we say in the corner of the room. So this is a very key, important fact that I want you all to remember and refer to when you move back and learn about prepositions of place once again. So now moving on to two more prepositions of place. We are going to do only two more today, students. You can come back to the next video to learn more about prepositions. For now, let's talk about beside and between. So beside, as the name suggests, simply means at the side of. Between, once again, as the name suggests, means that it is in the middle of two objects. We'll take an example to understand this. There are fences between all the homes on this street. So notice, fences between all the homes. So here the two objects that the fence is between are made very clear. That is one identifier that you want to keep in mind. One indicator that you want to keep in mind. If you already have two nouns, that is when we could use our preposition between. If we only have one noun as a reference for the location, we might want to use beside. So notice, students, and remember that whenever you use the preposition between, you want to have two reference locations, but for beside, we only need one. So here, there are fences between all the homes on this street. Two homes, there's a fence in between. Let's take an example to understand beside. She sat beside him during the ceremony. So notice here that in this case, we only have one reference location. She sat beside him. If we wanted to use the preposition between, we could say something like, she sat between him and his father during the ceremony. So one reference location for beside, but we always need two to use the preposition between. Remember this as we move on to a couple of quizzes now. The man blank you is wearing a brown hat. The man blank you is wearing a brown hat. If you notice, we only have one reference location here, which means that we should use our preposition beside. The man beside you is wearing a brown hat. Moving on to our next question. There are two desks, blank the office, with one table, blank them. So here we have two blanks. In the first blank, I want you to fill one out of these, at, in, or on. And for the second blank, you have to select one of these, either beside or between. So let's take a look at this, students. There are two desks, blank the office. The office is an enclosed space, so let's use our preposition in. The office with one table, blank them. So here we have two reference points already because we know that there are two desks. So two desks, one table. The table is between the desks. So students, there are two desks in the office with one table between them. Moving on to a last quiz for now. Anil is blank the top of the class this year. Anil is blank the top of the class this year. You have to use one of these prepositions, either at, in, or on. So notice here that we are talking about one specific position, right? The top of the class. It's one position, very specific point. So we know that we have to use our preposition at. Anil is at the top of the class this year. Now let's move on to a quick summary before we end this video. So we know now that prepositions are placed before nouns to show the relationship between two or more nouns and noun phrases. And prepositions of place answer the question where. They tell you where the noun is with reference to another noun. And students, I know you've had a great time, so let me bring you back to ODA Class once again. Like I said, ODA Class is a live learning app where you get to learn from fantastic master teachers like myself and many others that you can see on this channel. And for this purpose, we have curated the bridge course for you so that we can bring education and bring fun learning to your doorstep, to your homes. Now, the bridge course is a week-long course starting on this upcoming Monday, during which you will have 3 math classes and 3 science classes. And apart from access to your master teachers, you will also have access to your own personal mentor teacher. Your mentor teacher will be responsible for helping you with your attendance, with your homeworks, and with the tests that we provide to you on the app. Lastly, they will also help you as you go through the books and the modules that we provide to you for additional help and for additional practice. So students, what are you waiting for? You can click on the link in the description box below and enroll for this bridge course and come learn with us for just rupees 29. If you have any questions, you let us know in the comment section and we are here to help you out. And lastly, my favorite part about the bridge course is that not only do you get to learn and have fun, you also get rewarded for learning and for answering all of our quizzes correctly. So while you have already been answering my quizzes in this video, you haven't really been rewarded. In the bridge course, you get rewarded for answering all of our quizzes. And as you collect these coins, you can then redeem them in the ODA Mall for things like a smartphone or a speaker or a smart water bottle. Now, thank you all students. You can like and share this video if you have enjoyed watching it and learning with me. And subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss all of our future videos. I hope to see you all soon, students. Bye.